Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Media Watch. Thank you. I haven't been off for a while. I have some other problems to take care of. I could get into that, but I won't talk about it anyway. But this is the first show that I've been on since the election. We can talk a lot about that. Rob, who is out there in the somewhere in the cloud, he's doing the show with me. I just show Rob, make sure that people know he's there. There he is. Anyway, we're going to talk about a lot of different things in the media watch, and just the media itself these days. It's when you also include the internet and so on. The media. Ted Turner must be rolling over in his grave. I don't think he's dead yet, but it's amazing what he created with with the first CNN. Unbelievable. Anyway, we're going to start it off, and Rob always has a good material. The slides and the video and so on, and we're going to start it off with the campaign. Maybe this is the reason Donald Trump won.
Yeah, well, actually,
One of the
little
reasons.
contrasting. I want to show picture 110 because it illustrates that Kamala's campaign spent a lot of money, and it turns out that they paid a lot of celebrities. So
Yeah.
they spent $1 million or $2 million bucks. Number 110 if you got it. They spent $1 or $2 million bucks on Oprah. Yeah, that's not 110, but.
That's not 110. That's 110 is the the slot.
I'm looking for the one that has Donald Trump and the dump truck.
Yeah. You're at 230. We want 110, Mike. It's a slide of her, and it's two slides together.
Yeah.
He's with the dump truck,
Oh,
the garbage truck.
there we go. At least it's me, and that
Yeah.
looks good.
Anyway, we'll get to it here. We'll get, what was it? We had
Okay,
a little glitch
here's
here and
your
so on and so forth.
contrast concept.
Yeah. That ain't it
No,
either.
I like that, but it's too farther on. Or three farther on.
110, Mike.
One moment.
Yeah, that one's that's just 10.
That's not 10.
Hey, I don't mind discussing any of this stuff. We're going to be touching on the above the law stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's that's not it either. Well, I don't know what we got here.
I don't know.
That's all over the place.
I was going to touch on all this stuff, but he's going the wrong way. I'm sorry to not harshing on you, Michael. My esteemed producer.
There it is.
There we go.
That's it.
Exactly what I wanted. Perfect.
Okay.
So
there we go.
our contrast. This is from the campaign. So
Yeah.
Kamala's campaign paid $1 million or $2 million to.
Put the
Oprah.
slide back up. There it is, Mike. Leave it up.
And they lost. Trump put a sticker on a garbage truck and he won.
Yeah. Anyone just sitting in this garbage truck vote for Donald Trump, and of course he did get the labor vote this time around. What was the steel workers? They
Yeah, I think so.
was auto workers and so on and so forth. The president didn't want, in fact, to endorse anybody, but the guys in the union itself, they did endorse some, and they proved it. Listen, here's the guy he was in a dump truck. He's also making French fries. He was shown playing golf. He's in another one here. I forgot what else he did. I don't know, talking to some guy or something like that. A lot of things. He got down there, helping people out, doing different things. What's the other one? I can't even.
Actually, there's something that I was thinking about holding off on, but this is really absolutely spot on about the campaign and media. So this is one that I sent to our producer late, but it's a video labeled 580, and this is about 1.5 minutes of Van Jones. He's a famous Democrat. He's talking about how, frankly, how the Trump campaign used the internet much better. So if we get a chance, I'd love to roll
in the Philly suburbs. And I'm
yeah,
telling
this is
you,
it.
we are way off. The entire political class is way off. First of all, digital is a new door knocking. You got to understand that. We were laughing our butts off at Donald Trump for suspending his door knocking campaign and letting Charlie Kirk and Elon do a bunch of stuff online. We said, these guys are idiots. These guys are stupid. Then you start knocking on these doors. You know what people come to the door with? Their phone in their hand. They're in a 24-hour digital surround sound that has nothing to do with CNN, has nothing to do with any stuff that we do. I asked myself, I got a teenage son, I asked him, who are the most influential people in the world today? I'm thinking to myself, he's gonna say Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z. He says, Kai Cent, Aiden Ross, Jinxie, and Sketch. I don't know who he's talking about. I said, what platforms are you on? He goes, I'm on Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. I said, that sounds like you need to go to the hospital. What are these platforms? I'm telling you guys, the mainstream has become fringe, and the fringe has become mainstream. There are platforms, there are people out there that are getting 14 million streams, and we're on cable news getting 1 or 2 million. And so there is a whole world out there. Kellyanne Conway, I hate to agree with her, but I do a lot of times. Donald Trump understood that and we didn't. And it's not just Democrats that don't. The entire political class is way off, way off, way off.
Now, just for the sake of understanding, Rob, who is the guy talking? Is he a journalist or, I mean, does TV show?
He's kind of a journalist and a big political journalist. Sometimes he just plays the race card all day and night. Sometimes his name is Van Jones. Sometimes he is very, very spot on in his analysis. Yeah. I've heard him say things that I thought were untrue, but sometimes I hear him say things I think, my God, he's seen through something and he tells the truth as he understands it. So, my feelings about the guy are mixed, but I think that he nailed this. Yeah. That he's saying, look, here's the Trump people are on platforms that have like streaming 14 million views, as opposed to CNN, where he says we're lucky if we're getting 1 to 2 million views. Yeah. So
that's right.
that he's saying we're on the wrong stuff. Here we are laughing at these guys for not doing what we're doing. It turns out what they're doing works.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's really, it get real trouble. Even what's her name that says on MSNBC all the time. She has her own show. She gets $25 million a year. She just signed a new contract
Rachel
for.
Maddow.
And in the process of getting that thing, her audience went to half of what it normally is. I don't think that's going to survive. And in fact, the couple that have their own show, George, whatever, they're Joe.
Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski.
Yeah, who couldn't, they hated Donald, the Nazi and the fascist and Hitler and all that stuff and so on. They went down to visit Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago down there and so on. I don't know if they were invited down there or not. They said we'd like to come down there and so on. Probably got a free hotel room and so on. You're going to see a lot of that kind of things and so on. I guess to make up for them and so on, because they know they're in real trouble as far as doing that show. And then of course I think it was the big outfit cable company, Cox. I don't know. Anyway. They put all of their other assets into the dumpster. Now MSNBC and there's some other channels that they have and so on are now the ones that are losing money. And guess what? They may very well be gone pretty soon.
Oh sure. Well, yeah. NBC has the lion's share of MSNBC, and they're looking at it and saying, this doesn't produce revenue.
Not anymore.
I think that Maddow has already taken a salary cut. Of course, when you're making $25 million a year for saying Donald Trump bad, you can take a salary cut and still be all right.
That's what I think. You ought to get Don Lemon back, or Lemon, or whatever his name was. They fired him once Trump got elected. That was not in office anymore. When Trump was the president, I mean, you could turn on his show and on the, CNN, and within 10 seconds, he was bad-mouthing Donald Trump. He automatically was talking about Donald Trump. Now, this is a guy that has two residences in New York City, in Manhattan, and another one down in Florida someplace, and another one up in that island where all the rich people go on in Long Island. What name of that?
In the Hamptons?
Yeah, the Hamptons. He had one house there too, and so on. He sold off a few of those now because he can't pay for them anymore. He tried to start out. Maybe they should call him back, because he'll talk about how bad Donald Trump was. That's what made him money. Donald Trump made Don Lemon. Put it that way.
Well, I actually saw Don Lemon. See, a lot of these people who basically had to leave TV because they had no audience, who tried to make it on YouTube, and I've seen him. Frankly, he's not a class act.
Yeah.
It's I'm not trying to be harsh to the guy. He didn't look good. His production values weren't good. I tend to watch a guy named Mark Dice, and as Mark Dice has been at this thing for 15 or 20 years, and he says, I'm getting more views than CNN, and I'm a guy on his laptop in his kitchen.
Yeah. Well, what's the guy's name that goes on? It has a podcast. It's like 40 million people watch it. Have some.
Joe Rogan.
Rogan, yeah, Rogan and so on. This is a guy that is sitting someplace in his kitchen or whatever where it is and so on. He gets people to talk for 4 hours. Donald Trump was on there. And Kamala Harris was asked to be on
so
there.
Rich, you can believe he has a very nice studio now, but it's in Texas. And in fact, when he was inviting Kamala he said, Trump did my show. Kamala's welcome.
Yeah.
Of course, but like we say, he tends to do a long form, 2 to 4 hours. But of course, the great thing about that is you really get to see what somebody is like, because nobody preps a spiel for a 3 or 4 hour show. You have to actually interact. It's you thinking on your feet, talking about anything you feel like talking about. And Kamala, I think she strains at 20 minutes with a teleprompter. So it wasn't the right venue for her.
Yeah, right. And then of course they ended up endorsing Donald Trump and so on. That helped pretty late in the show, but he ended up endorsing Donald Trump anyway. He liked him, obviously, and Donald Trump did well. Oh yeah, and by the way, the other one I said, the dump truck and the French fries and McDonald's, and then you have a slide of him riding his motorcycle. I seen some.
Well, I got something better than that. Actually, that's not a slide. That's a fun video that we'll get to in a little while.
Okay.
But of course, that fun video, everybody should be warned when I show it, and I'll mention it then. It's a deep fake, and just as I have everybody involved, all the players treated as like a gangsta video, and also a deep fake. And part of it, aside from it's very entertaining, is it's important to see how good deep fakes are.
Yeah.
Frankly, some of it looks better than reality. So anyway, we'll get a little amused. Actually, if you like that sort of thing,
but again,
why don't we roll the video labeled 7:30? That's a deep fake of Trump and Biden as buddies.
Yeah,
and of course it makes use of the old
7:30, Mike. Yeah, I think we got it.
Makes use of why can't we be friends? Here we go.
No, it's not. Wait a minute. Is this it?
Yeah. We'll see it.
Was that really Joe Biden?
Of course not.
That's not.
That was a deep fake all the way.
Yeah, But that's what he's supposed to have been with Joe Biden. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm saying it was
That's
all
not
deep
Joe
fake.
Biden.
They're both deep fake.
Yeah, some
but
other guy.
the beauty of it is it's fun, and people
Yeah.
need to know how good the deep fake stuff can get.
Yeah,
And,
even making something like that, Donald Trump. That was Donald Trump, though. He was,
it was as Donald Trump in there was just as fake as the Joe Biden.
yeah,
It was. I mean, it's all composed from
Right.
it's artificial intelligence generated stuff that's taken from photographs of them. That's why the likenesses are so good.
deep fake, huh?
Deep
Anyway,
fake,
the bottom
deep
line
fake,
is that
it's like,
a lot of those
not
things
just
that
a
you
fake.
showed there, he that's what he did. He's an ordinary guy, really. Yeah, he's a billionaire, maybe. Who knows how much money he really has? But it's just and I get the idea too. That's when the man says he's going to do something, he does it. Not like politicians. We're going to make the life all much easier for you, and it's going to be real trouble, and we're going to do this, that, and so on. We believe in democracy and all that stuff and so on, and then they go away and get rich, like Joe Biden. He's got 3 mansions all over the country. I think it's 4 even now. He got a nice Corvette, I guess, and his son. What do you think about the pardoning his son? That's way off the subject.
First of all, I figured it had to be, but I think that they may not have thought this entirely through. See, now that Hunter Biden is pardoned, and with this ridiculous time period, nobody's done anything like this before.
Yeah.
What do you know? The pardon covers anything and everything unstated from 2014 to the present.
Yeah.
Now, 2014 was when Hunter Biden was appointed to the board of a Ukrainian gas and petroleum conglomerate, Burisma, and basically that's when we think the graft started in earnest.
Yeah.
Anyway, thing is, if you're covered by a pardon and you are not in jeopardy, then your Fifth Amendment right to not self-incriminate also goes away. You say, self-incrimination can't hurt you.
Yeah.
Answer the damn question.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, anything may happen, and of course, Hunter Biden had partners in all this stuff who have already spilled the beans. So he may not go to jail. And I don't really care that much whether Hunter Biden is in jail or not, except that when you think of the people who are in jail, he should be too.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think Joe may have been pardoning him. In a sense, he's covering for himself, since he was allegedly getting 10% of any of the ill-gotten stuff that Hunter was getting.
The big guy. He was the big guy.
He was the big guy.
All right. That's all he was. Obviously now, since he's not holding on any office anymore, and so on, Hunter's not going to go. Well, I guess he's off all the drugs and stuff like that. He actually made it. He had a friend who was a producer in Hollywood here who actually got him out of the IRS business. He paid off. They paid off what he owed and the penalties and all that stuff and so on.
Yeah.
I just think in a way, I've talked to other people about this on occasion, just conversation. Maybe should have waited, and Donald Trump could have pardoned the guy, and said this guy. The guy is this. Let me finish. The guy is a real sleazebag guy, at least it was anyway, a sleazebag guy, and so on and so forth. But this is all that Joe's got left. His wife and the daughter were killed in an automobile crash, and Bo and Hunter were in the car at the time, but they made it and all that. And Bo died of I think I forgot, and that wasn't cancer, but something else. He's already died. So all he's already got left of his own children, with his first wife at least. Well, he doesn't have any children with his second, the lady the doctor that he's married to now, although she has children. Anyway, Joe needs somebody to take care of him a little bit, some relative and so on, because even his brother, I guess, he was in lined up to make a few bucks on his name too. Of course, like that would
be Jim Biden.
Yeah, this is like Billy Clinton.
Billy Carter.
Clinton's brother. He came out with a beer.
Oh yeah, Billy.
while his brother was president of the United States.
No. Okay, Bill Clinton's brother is Roger Clinton. You're thinking of Billy Carter, Jimmy Carter's brother, Billy
I'm sorry.
Beer.
You're right.
And he
You're
was
right.
also
You're right.
a foreign agent for Gaddafi.
You're right.
And I was at least a little sympathetic to Jimmy Carter, even though I didn't care much for him. And so he's being questioned about him, and he says sort of sheepishly, "Well, I don't tell Billy what to do, and you don't tell me what to do."
Yeah, that was. But his idea of making it on the name was getting a beer, and I guess it worked out. I guess somewhere or other. Anyway,
Yeah.
which brings up the point about that when Ronald Reagan was elected and so on that day, the Iranians released all those prisoners of the 400 prisoners that they held because they knew that the next day something was going to happen to go and get them, right?
Yeah.
So they released them. They got rid of that, and this could be the same thing. This kind of there was the Hamas that has them now, and again, I think they're all dead. They basically why would they keep these people alive when they can't even eat? They're starving. They're starving to death too, or tough as it is. Anyway, and they do say about half of the 100 that are still out there are dead. They keep saying they think they're dead. Don't think they're dead. They are dead. And which is too bad. I mean, the whole idea. I could go on and on. I really keep track of this Israeli stuff and so on, and that you don't mess with those guys. The Mossad, you don't mess with those guys. They'll kill you. That's what they do. Their whole idea. There's a division in the CIA. They have these different branches all the way up, right? Well, they have in the intelligence, in the Israeli intelligence, they have three things. Is in the external thing, watching intelligence. They have internally for what intelligence for what's happening in their own country, and then they have the Mossad, who kills people. That's what they do. That's what they do. They go out and they kill people. They kill the head of the snake. Take the head of the snake. They had two guys now. Now they have their credit now to two other guys that they turned out they killed them here over the last year. And, this year, October and August, someplace like that, and so on. They go after those guys. They got the head of Lebanon, the Hezbollah. They got the head of it. What was that in Gaza? The Gaza business and so on. And when he was in Iran,
in Qatar or someplace, right?
Yeah, he was actually in Tehran, and they put a bomb under his bed.
Yeah.
And when he showed up, they detonated the bomb, and that guy was gone. And those are that bad guy. I could go on and on about the Israelis. I got to give them a lot of credit. I understand that that's up to 47,000. These Palestinians were killed in this situation. You got 47,000 Palestinians, and there probably were a lot of, there were a lot of civilians, kids, children, and so on and so forth. I mean, that had nothing to do with this thing, other than they were being used by Hamas and so on. So you got 47,000. That's not good. But wait a minute, they're way behind. 6 million people were killed. 6 million. 47,000 is peanuts. They got a long way to go. In fact, they don't even have that number of people in Gaza. They got 2.5 million people in there and so on. We're behind that. We're behind that times and so on. They can't. You don't get it. The Jews they've been after the Jews for 3,000. They're going to end the war. The war's been going on for at least 1940, and besides that, 2 or 3 millennia back of that. Back before Christ, in fact. By the way, Jesus was Jewish. Again, I get excited about this. I understand, but I mean, the Mossad is that you want to have that. You want to have them as an ally. In fact, they even in Syria now, they're cozying up to the guys that took over in Syria now are cozying up to the Israelis because they bombed the crap out of this in the last couple of days, and they got 90% of their entire army, the tanks and the warehouses and the gases, the gas stuff and so on. that they got him for what do you call it, poison gas and stuff like that and so on. They blew that place up. And by the way, also, it was in Syria that they were whatever the guy's name was that they threw him out. He's going to live in Moscow now for a while. God help him. Anyway, they're building a reactor. The French were building a reactor for him, and it was a French influence, in that area after World War I. They divided that up. And the French ended up getting Syria as a protectorate or whatever they want to call it and so on, as a country. That's how they divided it up. Anyway, they're going to build a reactor for them and so on, and they did and so on. Well, the Israelis took care of that problem. If you recall, they did it in Syria and they did it in Iraq besides, but they blew up and of course they didn't kill anybody. I don't think they killed any engineers. Nobody was. They did it when it was the night. Nobody was there. Although I think they did kill some people. But the place was dead, and they never went back to it. That's getting into a long story here, but the bottom line was after it was over. They asked for the French who had built it, and no French people were killed in that. They were still there, but they weren't at the reactor at that moment. They weren't killed. The French premier asked. The first question they asked was, "Did the check clear?" And after that, they said, "Yeah, the check cleared." Oh, well, then we're really against that. Well, how terrible that was, and so on and so forth. But they didn't get the renewed contract. It was paid for. Put it that way. That's my story. And
that's your story. You're sticking with it. I was thinking
I kind of making up in a part of it and so on. But they had to pay for it. That's for sure. Go ahead.
Mossad, as you say, their job is killing people who they consider to be a problem. And it brought to mind, there's a famous tombstone. It's actually real, and goes with some cowboy who got in a bunch of fights. Anyway, what it says is, he never killed a man who didn't need killing.
That's a good line right from a movie, I think. That was on a tombstone?
Yes, it's on a tombstone.
Actually, on a tombstone. That's great. That's another series in that of our history. Anyway, we're way off the subject here. Now, do you want to talk about what do you want to see next?
I'm all over the place. I'd like to touch on. We all know about Daniel Penny, or do we? Daniel Penny was tried in New York because he was defending some people on a subway. And the guy that he was holding off of people that he was attacking, that guy died. Yeah. His last name was Neely. I can't think of his first name offhand. Yeah. Anyway, Daniel Penny should never have been charged, but he was charged with second-degree manslaughter and with a lesser charge of negligent homicide. Yeah. Anyway, he was just recently acquitted. Yeah. And but basically, it was hung jury on the first charge, and the negligent homicide came back as not guilty. Yeah. And so it turns out that we have Black Lives Matter has been basically saying, they thought that there should be some rioting. They thought that Daniel Penny this was just like lynching. Well, it wasn't. And an interesting other item that goes with that is that Daniel Penny, when the guy quit moving, began to administer CPR, and the guy was still breathing when the cops showed up. Yeah. Now, the cops didn't want to do any mouth-to-mouth on him because he was filthy, and they probably thought that they would catch something. But anyway, and I don't. The guy was probably mentally ill. I don't wish him dead. On the other hand, he had something like a rap sheet of many offenses long, including having punched some old lady and broken her nose or her jaw. He was in a diversionary program. Had a halfway house. The guy had free food, medical care, and a place to sleep. He couldn't stand it after like 13 days, and he just left.
Yeah, he just left, right, yeah. I read that. Read that.
You know, I don't know the right answer to a lot of this stuff, but I don't think it's putting somebody in jail for defending the other people in the car.
Right.
Many of whom said, you know, they testified as, hey, I was afraid. I'm sure glad this guy stepped up. Oh, and of course, Penny wasn't the only guy who was restraining him either. They were helping.
Right.
See, what would we like to touch on? You know, how about I want to get into the pardons. You know, we just because of all the nobody above the law stuff. I'd love to just do. Let's say my first video is the one that's labeled 40, and it's because they're telling us how, you know, Biden's a real president. He would never.
Yeah, let's see
pardon
that.
Hunter Biden. He's real.
Let's see that. 'Cause I can't believe it. I guess this has to do with.
Accepted his sentence.
He is not pardoning his son, which he could do. These are federal charges.
Right.
He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country.
Yeah.
And it isn't, I mean, if you want to know if he believes it, you could actually see
Right.
what is happening with his own son.
The president.
Now, what is he talking about there?
Talking about whether Biden would pardon his son Hunter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
And he was saying, yeah, Biden is the real deal. He would never do that. He believes in the rule of law. Basically, he's telling you that Biden is a secular saint until, of course, he does it.
The rule of law.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, Biden. I thought that slide was going to be, you said 3040. Has some woman in there with a red dress on. I thought, what is that one? But I guess because I went, if that's what it was, because of all of a sudden the guy that killed the guy from the insurance company, the head of the insurance company and so on. All of a sudden, he's got a slide. People are giving him money for his defense, which they probably don't need because according to what I read, his family is very well off in Baltimore. As far as real estate, you know, in the real estate business and that. He's a smart. I get into this. Not the same as a penny and all. I can get into that too. But well, I will talk about Penny. My opinion on that one is that he got off when he should have got off. And in fact, he's a very humble guy. I guess he got interviewed just recently and on Fox News. You don't want to get him on. MSNBC and all, one of those, the CNN and so on. They'd barbecue the guy. In fact, you'll see him. He's just going to drop out of sight. He's not going to write a book and sell the movie rights and all that kind of thing. He just wants to be out. He did what he thought was right. And quite honestly, you know, well, riding the subway in New York is dangerous to begin with these days. You don't even know what's going to happen. I heard that they had police officers riding on the trains, every car of it. They have somebody on the train that can get with these guys. Wasn't there was one several years ago now where a guy shot a couple of people on the train and they were robbing people in that particular car. Remember that?
Are we talking about Bernard Getz?
Yeah, I guess so. He had a gun and he shot. He didn't kill anybody. But he put one guy in the hospital while he was paralyzed, I guess. One guy that he did shoot. He didn't kill him. But he got, he had to go to trial and so on. But I think he got off on it, didn't he? And that guy bragged that the attorney for the city of New York, for Manhattan and so on. What a joke! I mean, he said, give me some. If you want to find something bad about Donald Trump, I'll find something bad about. Elect me, and I'll find something bad to try him on. So what does he do? Stormy Daniels, an overpaid hooker, by the way. She got $130,000 and gave it to an attorney who embezzled it from her and so on. That's a lot of money for a hooker. I don't know much about stuff like that, of course.
At any rate, I'm sure that she would say that she was an adult film actress. But at any rate, first of all, Donald Trump denies having done anything with her except paying her to keep her quiet.
Yeah.
And by the way, how's that for a crappy investment? You pay somebody $130,000 to shut her mouth, and she doesn't shut her mouth.
Right.
Wow. What a crappy investment.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff and so on. But the bottom line is that, well, like I say, this whole business of paying off, that like the defense, the guy that's nominated for the defense secretary had something to do with some woman back in 2017 or 2018. Who was she's now complaining, and she got paid off for it and so on. And she did it she was abused. She ended up she was married, and she was at this convention with her husband and her children were there. Mm-hmm. But she decided to go up to the room with this guy who was the head speaker. I guess, he was a hot shot guy, and so on, and had sex, I guess. And she's going to collect on it now. Well, she did collect on it and so on. And she comes out now, of course, and says that and of course it was all turned down by the cops that they let him go, as it turns out, when it happened. Anyway, again, we're getting off the subject and so on. But the bottom line is that this whole business, going back to Penny, he was asked, in fact, if he would do it again. And I think his answer was yes, he would have done it again. And of course, the whole idea was that he was, I saw the pictures of it, he was at the bottom. He was holding on to this guy, the guy was on top of him. But he was holding on, holding on to him. And he was, I won't say a bad guy exactly, but he had his problems. He really had his problems. He could very well have been the guy that killed people in the subway. And he said he was going to.
Yes, he was saying that he wanted to. He said he didn't worry about whether he died. And we know from his record that he'd been a huge problem with many arrests, and that at least on 2 occasions, he struck people and hurt them.
Yeah, he had done it to people, yeah. So
he was somebody who probably shouldn't have been out on the street anyway. Yeah. By the way, just for contrast, you should take a look at, go to YouTube and just look up Moscow subway. You will see a subway that is clean and doesn't have any vagrants or people misbehaving or robbing anybody.
Right.
You can't believe, whatever Russia's problems are, and it's got them. You take a look at the Moscow subway and you think,
they don't have problems.
these guys don't look that bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful. They say it's really beautiful down there. He had that. Stalin had it built as a bomb shelter. He was buried like 50 feet in the ground somewhere down there and so on.
It's deeper. It is the deepest subway in the world.
All right.
And yes, it's very, very deep. The longest escalator in the world goes down to the bottom level of the subway.
Oh wow.
So in Moscow. Yeah. Also, and the shelters, it turns out, between the tracks, there are blast doors that you can pull open, and that's what the shelters are underneath. It's a beaut. Yeah. They were obviously thinking that they might take a significant hit.
Yeah. Anyway, the guy was had his problems. I saw his dad was getting interviewed. And by the way, the family of the guy that was killed, they're going to sue this guy Penny, I guess, who doesn't have a dime. Yeah. Who doesn't have a dime. And of course, they'll sue the city of New York too for not pursuing this guy and so on. And we'll try to do that. And who knows? They might make afterwards, like they did in Minneapolis, of course. They sued the city.
Look at what they're doing is. They never did anything that I know about to take care of, for instance, the father's come out of the woodwork. So what has he done for his son in the meantime? I don't know. It looks like not too much or nothing very effective, because the son was out there probably on drugs, certainly mentally messed up and threatening people and running around making a nuisance of himself. Mm-hmm. But now that he's dead, now somebody smells a payday.
Yeah, right.
I don't mean to insult the dad, but it from a distance and not knowing him, it looks like I smell a payday.
Is that like the guy in Minneapolis? I think he got, $12 million from the city of Minneapolis or something like that? It's an ungodly number.
Are we talking about the George Floyd folks?
Yeah, George Floyd deal. They got a statue of him now sitting on a bench at that same street corner.
Yeah,
You know,
St.
he's
George.
he's a big hero. I'm not saying that he was a bad guy. Let's put it that way, and so on. He didn't deserve to die. And in fact, that cop was a little acting, strangely or whatever it was. He knew that guy, by the way. They have been both been bouncers at some bar, and they didn't like each other then. So he obviously recognized this guy. That's more to that story, I guess, at some point. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
I also don't think that cop is guilty of murder.
But I don't think George.
I think that was a case of that was jury intimidation. There was I think that was political. They said, we gotta put this white guy in jail over this.
Yeah.
I'm not at all sure that he should still be a cop, but I really don't think that he murdered the guy. I think he actually followed the procedure that the police were trained in. That they did not produce any evidence that his airway was restricted. In fact, we know he had a lot of fentanyl in his system. And we know that people dying of fentanyl overdoses, you know what they say? I can't breathe. That's what they say. Because
that's exactly what they say right off the bat. I can't breathe.
And by the way, he said that a few times when he was still in the police car and nobody had any knee on anything.
Yeah, doing nothing to him. Right. Just try to get
so,
it right.
I didn't want George Floyd dead either, and I thought it looked horrible.
Yeah.
And there's no happy version of this. I just don't think that the cop necessarily belongs in jail for many years.
Yeah, well, he was a little overreaction and so on, it may be. But the other three guys that were involved in it and so on all end up going to jail. I don't think any of those guys should have gone to jail.
No, none of them.
I mean, they were just doing the guy that was there. I don't know.
They were all subordinate to Derek Chauvin, and they could see that he was controlling, and he was also he was the officer in charge. Anyway, no, they shouldn't be in jail. That's crazy stuff. I would have given them a reprimand, possibly a month off without pay.
Yeah.
But they weren't murderers. They weren't. People doing far worse are serving sentences far less.
Yeah. I don't know. That Penny. I'm glad he got off. Put it that way. It's too bad that in a situation like that you second guess everything after the fact and so on. In a situation like that, the people and the coach were really scared and so on. I mean, I don't know what I would have done. I doubt seriously if I would have jumped the guy. I don't know any chokeholds and stuff like that. This guy was trained in that kind of thing and so on, so he knew kind of what he was doing. But I don't think he meant to kill. I'm not sure as hell didn't mean to kill the guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you try to revive somebody you're trying to kill. So I think he was just trying to end the threat.
Yeah.
Hey, let's
we
only got around 15 minutes or so left. I'd love to show a little bit of how. I have a short one, a video that's labeled 720, and it just shows Donald Trump being presidential, even though he has not been sworn in yet.
This is the guy that's going to take over the FBI.
Yeah, he's in France. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, in France. Okay. Yeah. I see
Trump
that.
in France. So here he is with President Macron.
He's hanging onto his hand there.
Yeah.
That ain't the last time. They did it again. He did it again.
Yeah, and here's President-elect. And of course, Jill went to that, but because he was in France for the reopening of Notre Dame de Paris, which burned 4 or 5 years ago.
I'm sorry, what was it again now?
I said that the event that Trump was attending there was the reopening
of Notre
Dame de Paris.
Yeah, right.
Whether I make that distinction because they took a medieval history course, and there's another famous Notre Dame in France, in Chartres. Yeah. So my professor always distinguished between Notre Dame de Paris and Notre Dame de Chartres. Yeah, which is, by the way, that's all the French pronunciation I got.
They have a hell of a football team too.
Yeah, don't they?
Well, they're in the I believe they are in the finals now or something like that. That's this thing they're doing for football now. 12 teams will decide the champion for the deal. Yeah, that's and there was another place where he shook his hand and so on. And all of these people in Europe now. Oh, by the way, too, I just saw a picture of Mrs. Biden was there. Joe couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But Jill Biden was there, and there was a chair between them. But they're having a conversation. Jill Biden and and Donald Trump were looked like they were being friendly. They weren't. She was smiling and so on, and it's kind of a funny. People say, well, looks like they're made up and so on, and that's what's happening all over the world now. I mean, Putin's the same thing now. Hamas says, okay, we'll release the deals if you guys get up, because we don't want Don coming down the street with those tanks and stuff like that and so on, because they could, oh man, that wouldn't take very much time at all. Actually, the Israelis are using the weapons they're testing the weapons basically that they've built and so on. It's like the Spanish Civil War in the late 1930s and so on. The Nazis, the Germans were trying out all their equipment, as were the Russians for that matter. But especially the Germans, they were trying out all their new airplanes and things like that. There was the deciding what they had, the Messerschmitt, the one with the bomb, they could dive with a single engine plane and so on. I can't remember what the name of it was, but anyway, they were just trying out the weapons and so on. Now we know they work. They can do stuff with a lot of weapons. Keep in mind, bombing today isn't bombing total bombing of a whole neighborhood. They aim, you see it on TV all the time, they send a rocket into a particular building, and it's a bad rocket, and they knocked down a 4-story building, just made a level, and many people were killed. And they also talk about this 47,000 people that were killed. They're going to be finding bodies and all that records forever, for a long, long time. They just couldn't get people out of it. Anyway, I get off on these tangents too often, but I don't know what else you want. You want to do Carville?
Let's hear Carville and what he has to say about Kamala Harris's campaign.
This is too
cover your ears if you're too sensitive, because Carville throws a bomb here or there.
Yeah.
But this is the video labeled 250.
This is a guy I really believe
Carville's
too.
complaining about the way that Kamala's campaign was run.
Yeah. Roll.
The vice president was thinking about going on Joe Rogan's show, and a lot of the younger progressive staffers pitched a hissy fit. Supposedly the campaign said that wasn't the determining factor, but they did. When you put a campaign together and you hire young people to do work, let me tell you exactly what you tell these people, what I would tell them. Not only am I not interested in your fucking opinion, I'm not even going to call you by your name. You're 23 years old. I don't really give a shit what you think. And let me tell you another huge fucking error this made, is when people said campaigns need to reflect progressive values. No, they don't. No, they don't. Campaigns are authoritarian by their nature. And if I were running a 2028 campaign and I had some little snot-nosed 23-year-old saying I'm going to resign if you don't do this, not only would I fire that motherfucker on the spot, I would find out who hired them and fire that person on the spot. I'm really not interested in your uninformed, stupid, jackass opinion as to whether you go on Joe Rogan or not.
And this is the guy that put Bill Clinton in the presidency.
Twice.
He was the guy. It's the economy, stupid, and that's kind of what it is here. When you be paying double, triple for eggs and home owning and gasoline. Gasoline's going down. I think it'll be under $4 here very quickly. When it gets inaugurated, I'll give a bet right now, the gas will be under $4 when the day he gets elected, or even before that. Because he says, Bill does dig. How's that? Dig.
Drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, drill, diggy, drill. That's what he's going to do, boy. He's going to go nuts with that sort of stuff, and so on. And it's sort of funny because he's Tesla. Elon Musk is I don't know what he's got some kind of a little office and so on. But you can figure out he has the president's ear. Put it that way. Richest guy in the world.
I don't know how the future of transportation should run. I would think that at some point we want to be transitioning to stuff like electric. I like that. I don't want the government to push it on us faster than we're ready to take it. Now, even as I say, they'll tell me, people should take the bus, and I keep saying, all right, make the bus attractive. I mean, you don't have to bully me into taking the bus. If it's cool to do it, then I'll be doing it whether you ask me to or not. Just likewise, if an electric car makes sense to me, then I'm going to be buying and driving an electric car, and you don't have to throw out incentives. So they're always trying to push this stuff too early. So I'm glad that Musk is there. I'm glad that we're playing the electric car thing. But
yeah,
there's a transition. The transition is first you have to build the infrastructure for all of that. And right now, fossil fuels is it. Fossil fuels is where we get most of our electricity.
Yeah.
It's where we get most of our everything. Most of the electricity in the U.S. is probably from coal, and the rest of it's from oil. And then there's a few percent that are renewables.
Yeah.
Especially after they said the environmentalists were saying, well, you've been doing bad things to the rivers by putting those hydroelectric dams on there, and they literally taken out a bunch of hydroelectric dams. There was a lake I knew in northern the Olympic Peninsula in Washington. I love that lake, but I think most of it's not there anymore because it's dam that was one of those that was slated to be pulled out.
Yeah.
So anyway, you got to be careful. Look, Germany just they were shutting down all their
nuclear power plants.
All their nukes. Yes, exactly. And then in all likelihood it was the U.S. that probably blew up that the gas pipeline under the Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now the Germans are cold. You don't. This is a rock climber's maxim. You don't let go of something until you're hanging on to something else.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's has the same deal and so on. Yeah, that was I was wondering about that. Germany, they just shut down all their nuclear power plants. I don't think the Japanese though did they were there. They're the ones with the tsunami hit it and put it out.
Yeah, Fukushima. I don't know if they may have even reopened one of those.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the others aren't closed. Hey, I see we're getting toward the end of the day, and I've got a video here that I think is a lot of fun. Also, deep fake. This is all the major political figures, as though this was a gangster rap video. I think that we'd probably have some fun with it. Would you mind if we jump to that?
Which one is it? What's the number?
It's the video labeled 390, and it's the gangster rap deep fake that I think that we'll have a lot of fun with. So I'd love to throw that on.
Yeah, this is 390. Humor and
390.
Spin fellas must swing quicker than Federer. I serve packing a bags bag on a regular. And I'ma tell her how she sing for me T-Pain. Your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click dammers and bang them and I'm not sing. I feel it zip with the lead like a mukbang. The magazine made me lean when I walk in the drumstick will make a net bang like a pump beat. Dropping the cab, I'm banging the crossword up. Heading the west and I'm banging the push word. Couple of cans and a puff on me death stick. Click on my fingers, he's cutting me cough there. Bringing the barbells, bringing the website. I'm flinging the dry food, bringing the cassette. Belling me non-stop, sending the last hit. Hopping me drop top, I'm running a man day. Mr. Big Bucks, I'll be looking at business. Stressed to kill, mama got me up on a ring list. Pole position at the fella running the distance. I'll be banging, giving the triplets. The bigger the bag, the bigger the butt crack. The bigger the chose, the birds up in my contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the contract. contract, serve me up, baby, give it to me, it's up there. And I've been whipping the work up in a Benson, pushing a pack, the full stack like a benching, giving the fish scale, they slide like a penguin, flipping the chick on my bills, why fuck a benches. Slow mo fishing, I've been puffing the pinch parts, turning free fires to the fiends by the seaside. I'ma tear lines in the seams of my Levi's with a stick thicker than Nicki Minaj sweetheart. And I'ma tell her how she sing for me, take pain. Your mama's hooked on the packs, I'll be selling her. I click hammers and bang them and I'm not saying. I'm feeling zip with the lead like a mukbang. The magazine made me lean when I walk on the drumstick, I'm making it bang like a boom bang. Up in the cab, I'm banging the crossword up. Head in the west and I'm banging the push word. Couple of cans and a puff on me death stick. Click on my fingers, he's cutting me cuff there. Bringing the barbells, bringing the website. I'm flinging the dry food, bringing the cassette. Belling me non-stop, sending the last hit. Hop in the drop top, I'm running a man day. It's the big bucks, I'll be looking a bit distressed to kill. Mama got me up on the ring list. Pole position at the fella running the distance. I'll be banging, giving the triplets. The bigger the bag, the bigger the butt crack. The bigger the chance, the birds up in my contacts. The figure's a big deal, a pen on the contract. Serve me up, baby, give it to me, it's up there. And I've been whipping the work up in a Benson, pushing a pack, the full stack like a benching, giving the fish scale, they slide like a penguin, flipping the chick on my bills, why fuck a benches. Slow mo fishing, I've been puffing the pink spots, turning free fires to the fiends by the seaside. I'ma tear lines in the seams of my Levi's with a stick thicker than Nicki Minaj sweetheart.
The Door Brothers. I don't quite get what's that all about. We only got a minute too, by the way.
Well, what it's all about is it's just treating everybody in there like they're in a gangster video.
Yeah.
I thought, and the major reason I really want you to see that, aside from the fun, and it is fun.
Yeah, it is funny, yeah, but it's just hard to follow
that,
what they're trying to.
Not one of those people actually appears in that film.
Yeah, of course.
It's all computer generated.
Yeah.
So they've taken people's videos, pictures, and they've managed to use artificial intelligence to generate fake stuff. So you can actually now, you can see a video, you say, oh, I know politician X, Y, or Z.
That's the problem.
Punched this guy in the face because I saw the video. Well, that ain't evidence anymore.
Well, that's what we're into is the internet. I mean, that's what people get the information from, and so they believe what they see. Put it that way.
Yeah.
My point is, don't believe anything you see on the internet. Don't believe anything. As I say that now, don't even believe this if you don't want to, and so on.
Here's the classic.
Yeah.
Classic is believe nothing until it is officially denied.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for us. We got 20 seconds here, so it's been fun. I like this one. I needed this. Is therapeutic for me. I don't know how people are watching and so on, but it's therapeutic for me to talk about stuff like this and so on. Hopefully, some people get an idea. Like I said, that 47,000, we're still short of us.